we're going to dive into the ad account, answer some questions, get into some stuff, get some action items, sorts of fun things. And if you have been here before, well, you know what to expect. 2 pieces of housekeeping, and then we're going to get to it. First piece is that we have a new course video launching on the Disruptor Academy channel tomorrow. I don't know if you've all seen that, but that will be on automated rules. And I'm very excited about it. It's oddly one of the most actionable and probably the shortest. It's like only an hour and like 5 or 10 minutes. But I also am currently uploading the AI creation video as well, which will be up in which will be premiered in a couple of weeks. But I'm exporting from the editor right now. And that is how to build an entire marketing funnel using nothing but AI for every step of the way. Ad copy, creatives, videos, images, emails. You can even update the landing pages. I share my screen. I show everything along every single step of the way. So that should be super exciting. I'm pretty bullish on it. I want to drop them all right away. But my YouTube coach says that that probably wouldn't be good because you don't have something to drop the day after that. And his name is Daryl Leaves. He's been very good. He's done very good with like Mr. Beast and other folks. So I'm like, okay, boss, like, you know, I pay for education just like you all do. And you got to pay attention when they say things as much as you want to do other stuff. Cause man, I'm like, it's hot, let's go. But he's like, you gotta let it breathe. Otherwise you have a whole bunch of great information that nobody will see. And I'm like, okay, well, that kind of gets in the way. Fair enough. Yeah, so all of that. And also just a shout out. The MBA stuff has been blowing up. We just closed, we got the 8th person in yesterday. And I think 5 out of the 8 people joining the MBA that starts on June 1st are Academy members. So great to see all of that. It's just been really incredible. And with all that being said, I just lost my notes here real quick. I think it's, there we go. Oh yeah, so cool. Florian, you're up first. So really at this point, if you want to share your screen, we'll dive into the ad account. And everybody, you can take furious notes if you want. We also have 2 recorders going on here, and it should be in the Academy and uploaded to YouTube probably by the end of the day and available for everybody else. So like we're really, yeah, no, Pierre, we're working on it, buddy. I saw the little like wince, like, yeah, we got it, we're on top of it. So all that to be said, Florian, if you're ready to go, share your screen, you can unmute and we'll just start diving through some stuff. All right, I can see your shared screen. Let's get into the ad account.
Let's do it.
Okay, it's a little low res. Is it low res for other people? Oh, there we go. It's popping in. Okay, got it. Great. So do me a favor. Oh no, go back. Where did you go? Oh, I gotta put this down. There we go. Microphone. All right. I'm in my New York apartment, so I don't have my usual setup. And so if you hear sirens and stuff, I have an apartment in Manhattan, and that's just sort of what happens. Don't be alarmed.
Okay.
Although I did, when I was editing, some of the voiceovers have sirens in the background, but thank God for CapCut Isolate Vocal. 100% works. You cannot tell that there's a guy getting arrested outside of my window. Not that it's a terribly dangerous neighborhood or whatever. I live in a nice part of town, but still, things happen. Anyway, yeah, if you want to share your screen and we'll dive into it.
Okay. I mean, do you see it right now?
No, you were sharing and then you got rid of it.
Oh, really? Okay, wait. That's weird. Let me try this again.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Okay, there it comes. I can see maybe. Let's see. Nope. There we go. All right. We can see it happening. Okay, then let's share the ad account.
Yeah.
Where are you at, by the way, Florian?
I'm in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay, right on. Well, good afternoon to you.
Thank you. Do you see it now? Or is
I do, yes.
Perfect.
So,
okay.
What I'd love to do to start with is let's set up these columns for what we call a 4PI. And is this e-commerce? Is this lead gen? Is this, I'm assuming, okay, it's e-commerce. Gotcha.
It's e-commerce, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So I figured because the column, the title said Ecom, but I just want to ask, make sure. All right. So that being said, let's go ahead and go to customize columns. There's a lot of metrics here, but I kind of want to, I love that you got GPT. Let's go to customize. What I'm looking to do is kind of just get rid of all of these things and let's start fresh. So it's faster to just get rid of them all and then add things than to like pick and choose. One takes like 5 minutes, the other takes 2, and like you do this enough times, you just figure out the fast way to get stuff done. So first thing is amount spent. Yep, let's grab that. Then I want to see frequency. Then we want to see, yep, there you go. Then let's see CPMs. Great. Then let's see cost per purchase. So I'll just type in purchase and then it'll give you a bunch of things.
Okay, wait, let me do that again.
There you go. So you can just do cost, and down here if you want to do total too, that's fine. Let's also get the AOV just while we're here, just for some context. So that's average purchases conversion value, the first one, that's the AOV.
There we go.
Great, and then let's add in GPT. So it's custom. Got it, GPT. Love it. And then we've got the like check marks on website and meta purchases. We can just get rid of those check marks.
Okay.
Cool. So let's go ahead and save. And look at it here this way. Awesome. So let's go to the left. So over for the month of February, you spent 3,800. What is that? Euro? Yeah, euro.
Yeah, it's euros.
Gotcha. So right off the bat, when we're starting to look at some stuff, we see that 3 of the campaigns got turned off. 1 is still on. We can get to that in a little bit. If you scroll a little bit to the left, yeah, okay, great. Actually, do me a favor and bring the GPT next to cost per purchase, because I think that'll help us in our view here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, just so we got a cleaner evaluation. Hit save. Awesome, and then we can look at things. So the one targeting women, the one that's currently on, I'm guessing that's targeting women.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that's in German.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
That's just the name of the creative, basically, that
Got
I
it.
was
Okay.
having in there. Yeah.
So that one. So if we look at all of these things, do me a favor and slide a little bit to the right. I want to see the AOV. So what's interesting to me is your AOVs are, there's a pretty big discrepancy. I mean, €4 here, €4 there doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like a 10 or 20% difference.
Yeah.
That is fairly substantial, right? I mean, €4 across 33 sales doesn't mean a lot, but that's a 10% change in profitability for every euro you spend. That's a big deal. What's also pretty interesting is while the AOV is €4 higher, the CPA is €4 less, which is why the GPT is almost €8 better. So that is a much better investment. Obviously, it's at a smaller scale. And then when we start to look at some of these things, we can see the CPM is also a lot higher. So that's pretty interesting. And so with this, walk me through a couple of things here. One, why do we have 4 campaigns? What's the difference between them all?
To be honest, back then in February, I was just testing different creatives, and as soon as I tested a new creative, I was like creating new campaigns for those new creatives, so like new testing campaigns. So yeah, those are all different testing campaigns basically, and those who worked, I kept. And you see with this one,
You stopped sharing your screen, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. That's kind of weird. I don't know why it does that.
Yeah, me neither. But
there we go.
Yeah. There we go again. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So these are all basically creative testing campaigns. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is something I commonly see a lot of. It's interesting. I just had a conversation here. I had coffee with a guy the other day who is head of growth for a company called Icon, which is like a competitor to ArcAds and all of them. And apparently they have a managed service, and the guy running their ads took like 2 hours of consulting from some of the common thread guys, and all their ad accounts are like 15, 20 different campaigns that are all different creative tests. And like, He's upset because none of the ads are working, even though all of the ads are good for all of their clients. Every one of their managed service stuff doesn't work. And he showed me a couple of the ad accounts, and they all look like this, but like 5 times more complicated.
Mhm.
So the simplest path forward here I'd be looking at to start with, and I'm not knowing a lot, so I love going in blind because then I can give some advice and I can ask some questions, right?
Yeah.
The first thing that I might look to do, first off, it seems like the one that you have highlighted is doing great. Awesome. What I might do is begin to assemble the best creatives that I have, the best post IDs that I have from other marketing efforts. So the other campaigns that I have, and I would put them into this campaign as well. And if you go into this campaign, so we've got basically one. Awesome. So what I might do is the other winners, I would have as a second ad set in here. So it'd be the assembly of all of the other winners.
Okay. Mhm.
Now, all the other winners might not have been as good, otherwise they'd probably still be running. But what they can do is prop up the overall ability to scale that this campaign has. If you break this thing down by day real quick, and I know you've got February highlighted, but you know, whatever day is fine. I usually like to do like last 7, but you know, it's totally up to you. So if we run this thing
Okay.
by day, yeah, let's go last 7.
Okay, wait.
So there you go, and then last 7, cool.
That's gonna be different.
Okay,
The
yeah,
performance kind of changed, and you'll see. That's
okay,
why I started in February, because that was the best month, and then it
got
got progressively worse. So
okay. So
yeah.
do me a favor, actually. In that case, can we do like maybe February to now and break it down by week?
So
Yeah, we might even want to break it down by 2 weeks if we have too many data points, but we'll see.
okay.
Time. And the reason we're doing this, yeah, let's do week for now. The reason we're doing this, we're trying to understand kind of what's going on. You know, we really want to get an understanding of what's happening. And when you sort it this way, it's in reverse chronological order, meaning the most recent thing is at the top. So when we look at the most recent thing being at the top, there's a couple of things that really kind of stand out. First off, actually scroll to the left real quick. I just want to see spend. So your spend is more or less consistent, give or take. That's good. Your frequency on that spend is more or less consistent, which is interesting. Your CPMs kind of go up and down, and that's to be expected. I would expect that your CPMs are higher in May than in April, and higher in April than in March. And basically, January is the cheapest time of the year for everybody in the Northern Hemisphere. And things get more expensive until like July. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but we can get into that some other time. But so that we understand the overall CPM can generally, things get more expensive on reaching people. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that your performance is bad or that we're screwed. It just means that our overall strategies can change. Now, with that being said, when we look at this, the CPMs are kind of climbing a little bit. They go up and they go down, but generally they're probably higher in May than they were in March, give or take. The cost per purchase is also kind of up and down, although there's some weeks in March that were worse than now. There's some weeks that were better. 2 questions I have for you. Number 1 is, does this business need to be first order profitable?
It had, yeah. So it had to be, yeah. I'm trying to build an email flows and everything, so I can improve the second purchase rate, but that didn't quite work yet, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay. And do we have anything in the way of like search or anything like that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, it looks like your screen went away again. So I don't know why it's happening, but we'll work our way through it. So anyway, gotcha. And then the second question. So what I'm getting out of that is that more or less the CPA here, the volume of purchases you see here, is a fairly accurate reflection of what you see more or less across the business. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So, and obviously your products aren't free, so you need that GPT to be positive. Can you go back to the campaign level and let's look at the same time frame but month? I'm really curious as to kind of broken down by month instead of week. Yeah. What I'm looking for here is, can we get an idea of where some things got better, where some things got worse, and what we can do to try to unpack stuff? So, and this isn't in order, but that's fine. Basically, when we're looking at things, it just got more expensive in May than any other time. We know that in April, basically for almost every business around the world, things were very difficult, more difficult than the average April. And we have been seeing a lot of brands begin to bounce back in May. So with all this to be said, I think there are like 3 action items that I'm really interested in here. The first one is, I think, collecting your winners of all of the stuff that you have run and putting it into this campaign so that you have the current creative that's working, but also the other ones. It's tough to really do sort of a, we were to break down, I think, over the last 7 days and stuff like that. These ads, because the spend level is so low, it's kind of hard to see where they really work at scale. And because when they were running at a larger dollar amounts, things were a lot cheaper than they are now. So it's kind of hard to compare the two. So a 4 PI analysis from February isn't really applicable to May in the same way. That being said, if we have the ads that used to work and we can put them in conjunction with this one, then it allows the machine at the campaign level to choose which ad set to spend on. And if one ad set is the new ads that are kind of working or they're your best effort currently, and the other ad set is all the things that used to work, and I'd be fine going back lifetime on any ad that ever ran for the business. That, I mean, obviously maybe not like a November sale or something like that. I don't know how old the business is, but make sure they're contextually relevant. But I definitely try to run those alongside, so we have some known assets where the spend is probably higher and the performance is more knowable from the machine, and run that against the existing ones, the new ones that are working, that are doing well. And then I think the other side of this that I'd be interested in is the last 2 questions I have for you then. One, are these offers all more or less the same? Or is there a way to introduce higher price offers or lower price things? Like, how much are we stuck to this like mid 40s AOV? Because I do see that people are spending low 40s and low 50s. So there does seem to be some variety.
I mean, I tested other offers as well. I tested a lower offer. I also tested higher offer. I stuck to like a more or less higher one, I would say. It's like 45 plus shipping, so around
Okay.
50.
So I have one question then. What I might do, if we can, is if you decide to get into other offers. So there's a few different things. One, we can try to work on the price of attention. We can work on the quality of the attention, and we can work on the value of the attention. That's basically the 3 angles we can go inside of an ad account. So in reverse order, value of attention. If there's a way to make an offer a business that common examples of a higher AOV might be a buy 2 get 1 free, or it's maybe a 3-month supply instead of a 1, maybe a 5-month instead of a 3, a buy more save more is a common option. Also, if there's a way, if you have anybody that has ever bought from you more than once and the item they buy when they're on a second purchase isn't always the same as the first, is there a way that we can package those things up in an overall bundle? I'm working with a skincare business right now, and they have their hero acquisition offers a thing called the Essentials, and it's basically like skincare. And then they have another thing they call the Edit, which is like a bunch of like different colors for for makeup that are like tailored to people. And what they've found is the women that take the Essentials and take care of their face are more willing to get into the colors schemes that they have, but the women that take the makeup are less likely to come in and take care of the face. So there's this journey of one offer keeps people coming back and gets them to buy other stuff. The other offer that was their hero offer is great, but people don't go from this offer to this one, but they often go from this one to that one. Does that make sense?
It does.
And so
yeah.
what we're doing is we're taking a bit of this offer, we're taking this offer and combining it with this offer. So their AOV in that business happens to be like $250, which is high, but they're a premium product. And it's not that that's how you get away with it, but the same math could be a $25, right? It doesn't really matter. But we're launching an offer that will now be in the 350 to 400 range. And the purpose of that offer is to help people that are interested in buying more, allow them to do it and to overcome some of their objections with value. So if we can say somebody's on the fence with buying, a great example of this is like if you're ever on Amazon, you see the same product like 8 different ways, but then one person adds like 2 or 3 other dumb products and it's like $5 more, but it's Prime. So like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy that one. They're providing you more value. You make you feel like you're getting a bit more and you're willing to pay a little bit more for a lot more in product. Now on your side, if you know that the average customer is worth, let's say in this case, the average person is worth $90. They buy the $45 thing twice. Can we make an offer that's 100? If we can make an offer that's 100, that offer will sell at an AOV that is greater than the LTV of the average customer. And what this also means is we can spend more to acquire that sale. And that makes the value of the inventory better. That makes the value of our marketing better. I'd also be totally fine running that offer initially against like a retargeting audience, potentially like an abandoned cart or a site traffic, brand, we also call broad retargeting, you know, the engagers and site traffic, stuff like that, where you're saying this isn't necessarily going to be the best way of getting your attention, but if you're on the fence and trying to make a buying decision, but you already know my business, here's a better offer. And that way you can raise the AOV, which makes your profitability greater, which allows you to be more aggressive on the low price offer. And now your low price offer, which is your current hero offer, feeds the funnel of the high ticket one. And it doesn't necessarily, if one day it loses €5 and another day it makes 8, whatever, you're queuing up, you're getting more profitability from the other effort. So the combined nature of the two of them allows you to be more profitable and scale spend. The second thing that I would get to on side of this, when it comes to, so we talked about the value, we talked about the quality, would be more of the, inside of your audience is that broad retargeting stuff. And I don't know if we've really gotten into that or how much of that you've looked into. We have a video on the YouTube, and I think it's also available in the deck for the video should be available in the Academy. But how to crush Facebook ads on a small budget. It's like talking about accelerating the promotion of like Instagram content to build up a funnel to sell to. You basically build an audience and then sell a product to them instead of finding a product and trying to buy buyers. Building a product then trying to find buyers. If you can focus some dollars on that, what I might do is use that as your environment for your new creative testing. So your new creative testing is going against low-hanging fruit, which means that it's less disruptive to your other marketing efforts. So it probably won't scale as much, but when a new ad takes off, it can't be terribly disruptive to the things that are already working. Also, it means that there's a better chance of getting more positive user sentiment, more positive actions. It might be more expensive, but it's probably also going to be higher quality. And any ad from that does really well is more likely to be successful when you take that and put it back into your like winners ad set of all the other winners that have been working. So you're basically training it to be good by only letting it see higher quality people. At brands that are at small levels, that's a great way of getting stuff done. At brands that are big levels too, just knowing that right now you're struggling potentially on the quality of the inventory. It's a great way that is not a scalable solution, but does help you long term. Okay. And then outside of all of that stuff, you know, we talked about the value, we talked about the quality. I think I would also definitely look into how do I get more sales from other channels. I would really be interested in you taking a look at, can I focus my efforts on like a 3-day email funnel? Maybe day 1 is like 3 emails. Day 2 is maybe it's 2 emails, 2 and the 3. But how do I be as aggressive as possible? you can basically assume 90% of the value of an email is 24 hours after somebody gives it to you. 90% of the rest of the value is over after 48 hours. For you, knowing that you're not really using it for retention, there's not a lot of effort there, getting anybody who's interested for any reason to buy from you on a channel that is not dependent purely on paid social is going to reduce your blended CPA, and that's going to help you scale the overall business. The last piece of advice on that I would give is just that if you have some any marketing efforts, one of the things I recommend, like Instagram, if you have ManyChat attached, it's a great way to say like, hey, comment on this thing and I'll send you a link. And then when they comment, you can ask them like, hey, is this your email address? I just want to be sure, and you can DM them the link. So you're not even using the email flow to do it, but you can use the email flow to close. If you paired that with the like brand development stuff on Instagram, you'll also be able to scale up the size of your audience while monetizing it a little bit. And for you, if you could pay for the ad spend of growing that audience with the sales from the direct traffic of that stuff, then that's supplementing the cost of making the rest of your marketing more efficient. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. Okay, so basically, just putting all of my past renders into this campaign right here, right?
You're not sharing your screen, but yes, to that campaign.
Oh, I'm not. Okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry. I know
Okay.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think we yeah. All of your past winners in a second ad set within that one campaign that's currently spending.
Okay.
And then look into, I would go from there into the brand dev and the email flow stuff. I'd probably start with the email flow stuff, although I don't know how much emails you're getting on a daily basis.
Yeah, about 10 maybe, not much.
Yeah. I would probably consolidate, work on the email flow, get a higher price offer, and then do brand development in that order.
Okay.
And we have a recording of this. I spoke really fast, a lot of these things. I'm trying to be a little bit slower, but I also want to make sure that everybody gets their time. But I would do it in that order, because basically what that's doing is it's going to allow you to have a more stable, reliable Facebook marketing effort. And look, it might get better, it might get worse, but there's only so many things you can control. So it to be more stable and reliable. While that's happening, you then try the best you can. Hey, look, you're in a situation where if you get one sale a day from another channel, if you get 10 sales a week from email, that's not a bad thing, right? Like, that's going to help, right? That might double your sales volume. Like, I'll take that, right? And that basically means that a $72 in May is actually a $36 in May, right? So that's pretty good. And then if I can get that AOV up higher, I can, you know, like, that's where we're kind of all doing it. And maybe that AOV is something you do in the email flow. You don't even necessarily have to have ads for it, right? Like, but we're going to basically make Facebook smarter, get better at monetizing the attention that we earn, then get better at the value of each transaction, and then get better at building the brand. I think in that order is going to protect your cash flow in a way that you like 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not over too much work, but hopefully every week things get better.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
Awesome. Well, I'm trying to be reasonable, not too much, right? Reasonable is good. It's a clear action plan, and yeah, come back next week, ask any questions along the way, and the Q&A next week will definitely dive into it.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Florian. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Nitin, you're up now.
Cool. Good to see you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Well, how do you want me to start?
Let's just share the ad account. I'm very familiar with your account because you're also in the NBA. So, like, absolutely, like, you know, so I get it.
I'm your flag bearer.
Hey, look, I like it, man. You came to me and you're like, I'm gonna be the #1 guy. And I'm like, you're showing up, you're putting in the work, you're doing the stuff. I appreciate it. And it's funny, when my YouTube coach, I'm like, I'm gonna be the #1 person. I'm gonna annoy the shit out of you. I'm gonna be everywhere all the time, and I'm gonna be your success story. You said the exact same thing to me. We're both doing the work. So I very much appreciate it. As much as I want to post that video tomorrow, right after the other one, I'm also showing some constraint. All right, so with this stuff, can we like sort these out a little bit? The columns are a little out of order. If there's a way to kind of throw the amount spent first, that would be great. And if you can do that, I'll just hit everybody else. So you have so amount spent, frequency, then CPM. That'd be great. So amount spent would be first. There we go. Or frequency be second. Perfect. Go ahead and hit apply. And I think what we've been working on a lot is the consolidation of your ad account. And you were doing a lot of things that were profitable in a lot of places, but that meant that you were spending a lot of money where your profit wasn't as good as it could be elsewhere. So making your money work smarter instead of harder is a much better way for you to make cash. And one of the things that I tell people all the time is I don't care if you're profitable in 12 places. One of those things is better than the rest. And more likely, if you're spending money in 6 places and they're all profitable, half of them are substantially worse than your best 2 or 3. So taking, I think you were at what, 17 campaigns, if I remember correctly, something like that?
Earlier, when I started?
Yeah, when we started, yeah.
43.
Okay, 43. Fair enough. All right. I forget. Okay, I didn't. Okay, fair enough. Oh, we're in a better place.
Yeah. So world is a much better place right now. So
awesome.
It was like 43 campaigns. Then the journey started, and I started consolidating, as you know. And now mostly I have the last week we spoke on the
MBA
MBA
call.
call.
Yeah.
So I just consolidated all my retention effort also, if you said that you should do.
Yep.
So I have moved all of it together into one campaign now. Every retention is here.
I love it. Okay, we got the meet.google.com thing kind of over some of the screen. Maybe you can move it down or something. Okay, that'll work. So here's what I want to do. Can we look at the last 30 days?
Okay, then I have to put this down. Okay.
Yeah, last 30. And can we do the go back to last 30? No, last 30. Or the time. And then we're the compare window. You see the compare is at the bottom? Click on that one. Yeah, hit update. Awesome. What I want to look at here is how some of the things have moved. So if we scroll to the left a little bit, I really want to look at the CPA and the GPT. So if you hit the little arrow, like this button that's next to that one. Yeah, I don't know how to, the arrow to the line. Yeah, I don't know. And then can we do that also for the GPT? So one of the things, if we notice now, so that everybody can see, the most recent is on the left and last month is on the right. So it's important to me is I want to see how are we doing on the overall unit economics of the business. We've reduced, so the cost per purchase, let's see, the cost per purchase is now from a 4, it's basically gone up 40.
Yeah.
And you're making an extra 400 per sale.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with you going up 9% on the change because you're up 22% on the revenue.
Absolutely. I actually cut down the low ticket size products. I just moved those products out of my catalog forward targeting. They are part of the retargeting funnel, but I was also like forward targeting on in prospecting ads also. So I just cut down all of them.
I love that. So to try to repeat this, what you've done is you've edited your catalog to remove the lower profitability items so that your catalog that's showing theoretically all products is actually a curated above average GPT. So you're getting a curated
for
thing.
the prospecting. Because earlier what I was doing, for the prospecting campaigns also, I had products in the catalog which were generating the low GPT orders.
Yeah.
So I removed all those products which were low ticket size and which were in the prospecting. But I have only 2 retargeting campaigns which is all product. Other than that, I'm not using low GPT products in forward targeting. I mean prospecting campaigns at all.
I think that's great. And the one thing that I want to talk about, why I really like that move also as a teaching moment, is that you are on cold prospecting, attracting the attention of people who are more likely to spend more. On the retargeting, where you are probably going to get that for a cheaper CPA according to attribution, at least, you're saying, look, if you didn't buy, let me sell you everything. But you're holding back on the cheap things until somebody says no, which is great.
No. And also because website is too wide, it has like,
yeah, you've got like hundreds of products, right? Like
thousands of them in there. I have
yeah.
like 70,000 SKUs on the website.
So for you drop shippers and print on demand folks, you got 70,000. Step it up. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
And I'm on inventory model, so I stock all of them.
Okay. Last thing I want to look at is the amount spent.
Okay. So
you scroll to the far left, amount spent. So you're basically spent 100,000 more.
yeah.
Now this is also not USD for some folks. You know, sometimes context. Yeah. It's fun. I did have a chat with a guy who was spending in Mexican pesos, but it shows as a dollar sign, and it kept posting screenshots of him spending like $200,000. And I was like, homie, your clicks are like $300. What the fuck is going on? And then he like started to delete videos and repost stuff and then edit things. And like, he wasn't very happy about me being like, dude, you did not spend $40 million. Like, you spent, and the guy spent like 800 grand, but he was trying to like, anyway. Point is, I like the direction we're going in. So your spend is up roughly 4. And this, I just want to see the overall health because we made a lot of moves. So before we get into too much, because one of the things we can get into the trap of doing is making a lot of moves because every time we've been making moves, they've been right. So we get really enthusiastic about doing stuff.
Yeah, to over optimizing. So I just want to get over that phase in my account at this point of time, because these last 2 months with you and just consuming a lot of ideation around structuring in the right way, I have now figured out that I'm in the very good position, because you see that these campaigns have been like completely stopped, which was spending in the last 30 days. And now these are the only 7 which are active, and these are like further consolidated. Only 2 of these campaigns are running on dynamic ad, which now Meta has stopped.
The catalog stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the this one.
Yeah.
This now, we can't do this one now on Meta. So, and these are like giving me good money, so I don't want to stop on them. So one is on prospecting bottom funnel, and the other one is retention bottom funnel. So those are like very defined goals. And
the prospecting bottom funnel means that they haven't bought yet. The retention is a bottom of funnel people who did buy.
Yeah, did buy, and I mean, and are people those who have done view content and ATC within 1 days, but they may have, I mean, they surely have bought once before.
Got it. Is great. So one of these is a cash flow device. The retention bottom of funnel is a cash flow amplification tool.
Yeah.
The other one is a bottom of funnel retargeting effort. And what I want to say out here more on a teaching moment for everyone is that you will hear this phrase a lot. I don't want to pay more than once to acquire the same customer.
Yeah.
What I want to tell everybody is you don't own any customers. You are not acquiring customers. Like, yes, in every business, until you have a business with like a very well-defined multi-touch cash flow cycle, odds are you're still paying to acquire all of the sales. And getting a customer to buy from you more than once, the first purchase is the least profitable. So even if you're making a dedicated marketing effort to get people a second or a third time, yes, you've already paid to quote unquote acquire them. Yes, you're hitting them on other channels, but it's also an extra 940 sales for your ad account, right? So that's really important. Now, maybe that 940 isn't real. Maybe it's only like 500 that are purely incremental, but I'm okay with that. So there are 2 moves here that I'd love to get to. One of them we kind of talked about in the MBA program, but we could do it here. Is just some homework for you to really kind of drive it home. That is, so you guys get a sneak peek of what we're talking about in the MBA, because it's the follow-up for him right now, and that's what we do. One is, can we do custom conversion events for the Google Click ID and for Klaviyo? I'd like to know where you're getting sales that are from that are somewhat also being attributed to potentially other channels?
Custom ID for Klaviyo and
For Google, for search, and for email.
okay.
So to do that with a Google, every Google click in the URL has GCLID.
And I can just tell Yiki to do it.
So yeah, you can talk to Yichi about it, absolutely, and Amos.
Yeah.
She'll set it up. I had dinner with her the other night. She's very nice. She was some German agency owners. We had a good time.
I'll just tell her that Charlie told me to set this up, and you please set
Yes,
it.
there you go. For anybody else that wants to know how to do this, by the way, it's actually really easy. You can have purchase event where URL contains GCLID. That means any purchase event that came from a Google Click ID, the vast majority of them, you'll be able to see in your dashboard. I made 100 sales and I have 20 that have a Google Click ID attached. Now you're going to know of the 100 sales, 20 of them were Google was also part of that journey. It doesn't necessarily mean that Facebook, without the Facebook ad, you wouldn't have it. It doesn't like they're all playing together, right? But it's good to know where you are more or less incremental, where you are driving sales to other channels and where you aren't.
And also maybe which campaigns are moving, which campaigns have a collaborative result, which campaigns have more dedicated meta result. So that also.
Yes, and when for Klaviyo, by the way, you can also do it Klaviyo often or any email. You could, if you have UTM medium equals email, you can have medium email, or Klaviyo, I think by default has Klaviyo involved. Any email provider, well, you could have a UTM in the clicks. Highly recommend that you do. This is a good use case for UTMs. And then you'd be able to see that. So maybe 100 sales, 20 Google Click ID, 17 email. It doesn't mean you have 137 sales. It just lets you know that some of those sales might be attributed to more than one campaign. And it also doesn't mean that 37 of those, like 10 of those Google sales might also be email ones. Like that's totally possible. Someone might have clicked on a Facebook ad, the next day searched for something, clicked on a Facebook ad, got an email from your abandoned cart 4 hours later, and then the next day searched for it, and then all three channels are taking credit for the sale. But it's good for you to know. And the reason that I want you to begin to take a look at this is as we're continuing to consolidate, if you have things where those numbers are higher, meaning 100 sales, it's like 60 or 70 with Google, I need that to have a lower CPM. I need that to have a lower frequency. What I don't want to do is see, oh, I have a really good cost per purchase, but my CPM is super high, my frequency is super high, and most of these sales, the majority are also being attributed to at least one other channel. That's going to let you know that your Facebook CPA is wrong.
Yeah, which means that I'm spending too much on meta on that in double. I mean, it's showing twice and thrice and more than once.
Yeah,
and also
more importantly, what it means is that there's a more effective way for you to be spending your money because that effort is less incremental, and the CPA that makes you really happy. Let's say, for instance, your Fabric A Plus at a 435 out of 259 sales. Now, this isn't the case, but let's say 209 of them had a Google or a YouTube, or sorry, an email.
Yeah,
let's just say that's the case. Then that 435 is you could begin to be like, well, it's not actually 435. That's actually more like 1,000.
Absolutely. Got you.
So you can begin to understand which ones of these you have more or less confidence in. Yeah. Again, it's not the perfect way of doing things. In my head, the way that I do it is I usually multiply. I have like this fake number, and I've been thinking about making a video on it, but I can't get it succinctly in a way that works for everybody. But it's basically percentage of sales that are also attributed to other channels as a multiplier on your CPA for you to kind of get your cost per incrementality. The problem is there's so much contextual information around the marketing funnels. It's not very actionable, and every business is different. But I would love
you just want to define it, but I would say that rather than definition, it looks like a more hypothesis, and not, I would say that at some point of time, because the whole attribution funnel is now so messed up, and instead of defining where what is coming from where, we should just see it. I mean, as you say that we should look at on the top line level, on the store revenue level, blended. What is the blended business ROAS?
Yeah,
That
and why this is the reason I haven't made a video on it is because the action item is different for everybody.
yeah.
You might have a
Okay.
business that's phenomenal at driving traffic to search and email. You might also have a business where anytime you go into that space, you just lose money. Every business model is different. I've dealt with the exact same brand, more or less the same business model. Like I think at one time I was representing like 3 different CBD businesses. One was purely affiliate driven, one was all Facebook ads, and the other one was like SEO. And the right move based on that data was different for each one of them. Like the absolute best thing one person can do is the absolute worst thing another person could do. So it's just what you want to begin to understand with that is as I increase my budget in places, is it moving my bottom line and how does my funnel work? So the reason I'm going down this rabbit hole is I think you're doing a good job in how you're doing stuff. I think all of the moves that you're making are going the right direction, right? Like, yes, your CPA went up 10%, but you're also making 30% more money with everything, right? So it's not always chasing the lowest cost per purchase. You've made your purchases more valuable. So sort of like Florian's thing, if he can get his sales from 45 to 100, I'm thinking he'd gladly pay $10 more to make 2.5 times as much, right? And you're doing that right now, which is great.
And this is also fresh. You can
Yeah.
see that almost one, two, three.
Most of them don't have spend last month. Yeah.
Yeah, so like five of them are like so fresh that
Yeah.
they have just like last, what do you say, a week 10 days data.
Yeah.
So with that perspective, they are in a very good shape. They have moved into the right direction.
Yeah.
And this is a progression of the what we have been doing since last 2 months.
Yeah. So my biggest action item for you here is we need to get better on the quality of information that we're collecting so that when we have the ability or the need to take an action, we're more informed. I think the actions you've taken are already moving you in the right direction. I think more of the same is just fine. I'm very happy with you basically just saying CPA below average, GPT above average, shift more money in that direction, but nothing substantial, right? You're just letting water find its level, right?
Yes.
While that's happening, I want to get a lot better with my business intelligence. That's where I want to get the Google Klaviyo. That's where I want to get the email stuff. I want to begin to understand the incrementality of this effort on all of my other marketing channels. Now in the MBA, we have the ecosystem doc and we can go through mapping the charts of the curve, but like that's a whole lot to get into. That's probably a 45-minute conversation in its own right. Way too much to get into here. And we'd be talking about docs that nobody else has, so I won't do that here. But I think you're in a place where your biggest gap is in the knowledge of what's happening with your customers. And overcoming that gap is your best opportunity to continue to make more informed choices. And what I want you to understand more intimately is how your marketing channels work together by different business objectives. And then you are going to be able to understand maybe the dress material at an 1100 is way better than the saris at 669. We don't know, but maybe it is because of many other things, right? Now the GPT on them is almost the same, but if the saris is 50% less incremental, then you're like, actually, I'm making less than 1,000 on it. That's actually really bad. Like we have to kind of understand that stuff, right? And so those
that can only come with when we have more customer touch points, more data points.
Yeah, you need more. You need a greater level of granularity and understanding what's going on. And I will say this: a lot of people make the mistake of getting like Hyros to map it all out. You don't need to do that for basically free for anybody using custom conversion events, or you have Yichi at Amers. You can build that stuff in. The beauty of having Yichi at Amers is you probably already have your Google and your Klaviyo tapped into Amers, so getting that as a custom comment in your Facebook is fucking stupid easy. It's just like she'll just and get it done.
Yeah, I I also got category purchase events mapped.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
So,
So,
I can know that which of my like for example, I'm running a dress material campaign. So
mhm.
I'm now able to know whether this campaign is actually getting me dress material orders,
Yeah.
or it
And
is,
that
or the customer is going on website and buying something else altogether.
Yeah, and that's really important. I'll tell you, I have a brand right now that launched, or I think I mentioned it before, where they launched like cell phone cases and they ran a bunch of ads for cell phone cases. And 90% of the cell phone case ads, when people click on them, they're buying wallets and handbags.
Yeah, so I wanted to map that kind of a behavior,
Yeah.
because my most of my campaigns and most of my account, people are tend to buy fabric category.
Yeah.
So 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 better I'm able to optimize campaigns on not getting into the same bandwagon and just pushing the same category. Better I'm at marketing. Otherwise, all of my campaigns move towards buying fabrics, which is a low ticket size product, which is okay. But I want to devise different strategy, different campaign for different product category. That's how it has been
Yeah.
set up now. So I'll have a, as you say, that we'll have a more data clarity on that.
Yeah. So we're going to get to Hector here in a second, but I'll end with this. My number one piece of advice for you is to make sure that you're okay with not taking actions. Like, there's an analogy that has been told to me a lot. It's like if you hang out in a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. So like, go do other things with your time. If the longer you
Yeah,
stay in the ads manager, the more likely you are to start hitting buttons and fucking around with shit.
I get you on that. So I'm like holding myself a lot
Yeah.
now.
Hey,
And
look, I do the same thing on YouTube. I got a video that I can push on Saturday, and like it's gonna be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because I know like I'm excited, but it does harm, and eventually we have to put our egos aside for the better part of our business,
so
which is
yeah, I've just kind of, I've thought in my mind that if I now, as I have a good structure in place, I'll focus more on building on the creatives, more on the creative testing side, and getting the right kind of creatives into the system with over the period of time, not like too many of them, as you say, but
yeah.
finding the right customer journey points, customer angles, which can actually bring incrementality into the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're thinking about it all in the right way. We just need to be more and well informed for the more valuable decisions that you're going to have problems in 3 weeks that right now you don't have enough information to solve. So let's get ready for that.
Yep.
All right.
We'll, we'll have we'll have two touch points. What you said, we'll have them by next week. I'll ask Kichi,
I'm
get them from.
excited. Yeah. And I'll see you, I'm sure, on the NBA call next week.
Yep.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Thank you for having me on this call.
Hey,
Love
keep up the
sharing.
great work, man. It's great to see it. If 43 down to 7, and now your number one piece of advice is stop fucking touching things. Just get smarter. That's great. I'll take that all day. It's frustrating, but it's like, okay. So like the worst thing I could do is be involved. Yes. Yes. You've solved the other problems. That's good. That's the space you want to be in. All right. So thank you very much, buddy. It's time to bring up Hector.
Hi, Charlie. Can you hear me? Well,
I can.
perfect. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Can you see my screen?
I see it says, there we go. Yes. Awesome. All right. And where are you at today?
Mexico. I'm from
Okay.
Mexico, Puebla.
All right. I didn't ask Nitin because we've been on a bunch of calls. I know where he's at. It's just great to see everybody around the world. It's so fun. Like I'm just some guy making videos on YouTube, and now I'm talking to all of you. This is great. I mean, it's a lot more than that, but still. Anyway, okay. So we've got spend, frequency, CPM, cost per, and then what is that? Total number of customers.
Yes, it's for a webinar. It's in Mexican pesos also.
Gotcha. Okay. Mexican. I didn't mean to call you out, but yeah, Mexican pesos. There we go again. Yeah. Wow, you said 15.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Okay. So it's a webinar. Okay. Three questions I have for you. Number one,
Yes.
is the conversion event, it says potential client.
Yes, lead.
So it's a
Well,
lead.
the thank you page, like the pixel of the thank you page is lead.
So walk me through this. I click on the Facebook ad, what happens?
Yes. Do you want me to share also the?
No, you can just tell me. You can just tell me. Yeah.
You go to a landing page, then you click a button and you put your name and your phone number, and after that you go to a Facebook, to a thank you page that leads into a WhatsApp group.
Got it.
But
So,
the person who arrives at the thank you page is like a lead. Well, the meta pixel I like is called lead.
okay, got you. So you're optimizing for a lead event with a lead form that is on a web page, not a Facebook lead form.
Yes.
And your
It's like,
pixel then fires when somebody completes that form, they get to a thank you page that then has a button to bring them into a WhatsApp group.
yes.
Got it. Okay. What happens after they get to the WhatsApp group?
Then in the WhatsApp group, I have like a secuencia pre-webinar, well, like some messages, and then the class is every Thursday, today, at 8 p.m. And I do that all weeks. It's like the same process.
Got it. Last question. The purpose of that webinar is basically to get somebody to buy on the spot.
Is to get clients to buy an investment plan.
Gotcha. But in short, what happens is that within 7 days, because it's every week, within 7 days, somebody clicks on the ad, they see a webinar, and then they buy or they don't. That's basically it, right?
Yes. If they want to invest, well, I'm not actually like the financial advisor,
Sure.
but if they want to invest, they like have a custom plan for this for this person.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do they go to a website or is it like a phone number or another WhatsApp conversation?
To what?
When I watch the webinar and I'm like, hey, I'm interested, what do I do next?
To a WhatsApp and then to a Calendly.
Okay, got it. Can we pixel the Calendly and begin to see that in the dashboard? What I'm looking for is I would love to know out of these 953 leads, how many people hit the Calendly.
Okay.
So the way you can do that with Calendly does have like meta integration. You probably, if the Calendly is a direct link where it's Calendly on its own, that's different. What I do generally for this is I'll have a landing page that has Calendly on it.
Okay.
So it's like booking page or something like that, right? I'll have a pixel fire on that booking page, and then I'll have a pixel fire when somebody books the call. And the reason I'm very interested in that with this ad account, more than anything, is we don't really have any idea what to do. There's a couple of things we can do, but the point is the cost per lead isn't nearly as important as the value of the lead. And what I would love to do is really get down to the bottom line of what is a lead worth. So let's say, for instance, you have a conversion rate of 1 in 5 people who signs up spends 100 pesos. That would mean that it costs that every lead is worth 20 pesos. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, if it's 1 out of, let's say it's 1 out of 5 people that sign up for a lead hit the book page, and 1 out of 10 of those actually convert. Then if this was 20, just to keep it simple, if that was 20 pesos, 1 out of 5 hits the booked page, then it goes from $20 cost per lead to, or 20 peso cost per lead to 100 peso cost per lead. And then it costs us 1,000 to make a sale, because it's 1 out of 10.
Okay.
We can then begin to understand what of those things are we buying for less than that price. If it's worth 20, it's worth 100, it's worth 1,000. Then we can begin to understand at the ad level where are we attracting things. Basically in lead gen, like in e-commerce and everywhere else, what you're trying to do is buy money for cheaper than it's worth, right? So you're trying to buy a 20 peso lead for anything less than 20. You're trying to buy 100 peso book call, like Calendly landing page for less than 100. You're trying to buy 1,000 peso call booked for less than 1,000. So in this case, if we were to dive into the ads here and we were to see some of these, let's just dive into the campaign real quick. Let's take a look at it. I don't know how many ads or ad sets or ads you have live in this one campaign.
One
Okay, only one.
campaign, 1 3 2 ad set.
Got it. Okay. So they're all one thing. You might, let's say there were 3 for the purpose of this conversation, just to make an analogy. Let's say there were 3 that all spend 5,000 a piece. We're close. We're going to dummy the numbers a little bit. Okay. If they all spend 5,000 a piece, and let's say they all got 300 or so leads, give or take. If one of them had a conversion rate of 1 in 2 showed up to the booking page, and 1 out of 5 of those people booked a call, but out of 5,000 it got 300, those are way more valuable than another one where you got 300 people and nobody made it to the book call page. So the point is, if we're going to make an e-commerce example, are you familiar with like a lot of e-com? So it's like view content, add to cart, purchase, right?
Yes.
You're effectively, a lead is like a view content in this analogy, right? Or for other folks, a lead is like a purchase. And then you get second purchase is like an add to cart. And then like a subscription would be, every funnel is a little bit different. I'm trying to make an analogy. I think I'm losing it a little bit, so I'm going to stop. The point is, I would love to get to a more valuable touch point, because then I can launch 1 or 2 other ads and I can see what's most effectively getting me to that end point. Also, you hear me talking about GPT and AOV and all of that stuff. You have a AOV for every touch point, because there's a conversion rate of the number of people that sign up for the webinar that then get to the call book page, and then the people who confirm that. And again, if it's 1 out of 10 each place, then it's $16.50 to get a lead. Each lead, it's 160. It's 165 to get somebody to land on the calendar book page. And then it's 1,653 to get somebody on the booked call. Now, if my close rate on the book call is 1 in 3 people and I'm selling something for 10,000 pesos, you're not nearly spending enough money. But if you're spending it in 3 different places, you could add that budget to the thing that has a 0% conversion rate, but you don't know right now. So much like with Nitin, where it's like the problem is in the data. Now you only have 1 ad, so there's not a lot of optimization, right?
Yes.
But for me to make more informed decisions, I would love to begin to understand the value of each one of these. And you can begin to say, okay, if somebody lands here, and you can make custom conversion events for this stuff too, by the way, where you can say, I got 16 leads and multiply that times 100 and make it currency. Great. Now I've got like a value attached to it, right? But you can begin to assign a value to each one of these actions and a cost to each one of these actions. And your job as the media buyer is simply to buy things for cheaper than the value. Basically all business is, right? You buy a $100 bill for 80 bucks, you made $20. So that's really all you're going to be doing. What I would love is to set that up and then take a look at your ad account. Now, it's kind of hard for us to understand because we don't have a second data point to label it, to run it against. But if we were to look at the last, can you break it down by day? So what is that? No. Hit cancel. For you, it's the second one. So what is it? Desclos? Is that it? Am I wrong? I'm a white kid from the suburbs, so I don't know Spanish.
Which one?
The breakdown.
Breakdown.
So the middle one. No, not here. So you have columns, and then you have reports. What's the one in the middle?
Columns.
So you have yeah.
Yes, breakdown. This one?
Yeah. What is that word?
Desglose.
Desglose. Okay. See, white kid from the suburbs. I said it so bad you didn't even know what I was saying. Okay, fair enough. Can we break down by day? So go to dia. I know that one. I'm good at that one. Yeah. That one I can get. Okay. So when we look at this, your frequency is telling me you're fairly top of funnel. Like, your frequency is not that high. Some days it's more, some days it's less, but it's not like you're in the 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. And knowing that you're doing a webinar, that inherently tells me your total addressable market is smaller than maybe like somebody trying to sell socks or something like that, right? Yes. So I would expect your frequency to be higher, but it's not. So my suspicion is that when you begin to map out all the parts of the funnel, your best opportunity is to find creative testing where your frequency is higher, your CPM is higher. It might not spend as much, but you're more effectively getting some to that call book page.
Okay.
So basically you're looking at step 1 of the funnel. I want you to see step 2 and step 3. And then based on the simple 4PI here of just CPMs, I mean, it's all relative on CPM, but the frequency is definitely telling us over 30 days, the average person maybe saw your ad twice. You are not hammering a lot of people, which tells me your efficiency here. You're very good at reaching a lot of people, but I bet you could get them to take the action for a lower cost. So that's probably the next creative angle that I'd be looking at. But if I can get a pixel, if that Calendly can be on a landing page where it's a simple landing page and the Calendly exists right there, awesome. Okay. I can pixel that page. And then when they do book, that is a pixel. You can't drop a pixel on the booking. You can integrate the pixel directly into Calendly. That you can do. I don't know if it works on the booking page with just the Calendly opening. I think it does, but don't quote me on that. I want to say it does. It feels dumb for them not to, but I'm not 100% certain.
But if not, I have to make another booking, a customized booking page, right?
Yeah, where it's literally just like the Calendly calendar on the page. I'm almost certain that it'll load, that you won't need to do that. But I always put a Calendly on a web page. So I don't really, I don't know for 100% certainty, but I'm sure that it should. Either way, that would give you touch point 1, 2, and 3. Now you can't control what somebody does on the sales call, but what you can do is get a lot more people to the sales call for a lower price. And then what's going to happen is you're going to chase that back to say, well, what ads brought me? Your sales team might be stoked, or they might be like, wow, we were closing 1 out of 3. Now we're only closing 1 out of 10. And that means for me that the ad that is really good at getting somebody on that sales call is really good at getting somebody who's not ready to buy to waste somebody's time. But we don't know that yet. Eventually we'll get to that point. You're like 3 steps away from that, but that'll make you exceptionally more valuable. But either way, I think the number one thing you got to take a look at right here is those additional touch points, and then another creative where your frequency and CPM are higher, so that hopefully you get to that page, that step 3 more cost efficiently. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Also, so that's how I would do it. And look, if you can get, if right now it's 1 out of 50 people get to that book call, if you get 1 out of 10 instead of 1 out of 50, your cost per lead could be 100 pesos and you still make more money. So the cost per lead is not a great data point. It's good now, but you can be a lot better.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I had a question because,
Sure.
well, my strategy was like to increase the, the daily budget by 10%. And this is something really bad, or
I'm not unhappy about it. I'll say this. That's probably more instability than I would like to have in most cases, but also if you are wildly under leveraged, like what if you could afford 100? I'm okay by bumping it by 10% because like you're not even close to that. So without knowing anything else, I'd say that's pretty aggressive. I also know that we have no idea whether we're doing a good or a bad job, other than the fact that people are okay with you spending more money means you must be doing something right. So I need to know touch point 2 and 3. But hey, look, if they're saying we'll pay 50 pesos and it's coming in at 22, just keep bumping that budget. But that's the best advice I can give you. I'd be okay with the 10% increase until your cost per lead is coming in on a weekly basis around 10% less than what you can afford to get them, right? Like if you're coming in at a 22, 23 and they can afford a 25, I might not increase by 10% on a regular basis. Maybe I'll bump it down to 5. If they can afford a 35, just keep ramping it up.
okay. Okay. And also it's good to run. Well, my question is, every webinar is like on Thursday.
Okay.
And then I always start like the campaign on Saturday, and on Thursday I turn it off, and for the next webinar I turn it on the Saturday of this
Okay.
week. Is that okay? Or
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think there's nothing that is overly great or bad about doing that. I think the way to answer that question in reality is once you begin to see your efficiency of getting people to do stuff, you're going to see is Friday a good or a bad day. And if you look at it across the board and Friday's no different than any other, then don't turn the ads off.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a level of effort and complexity that might just not be necessary.
Okay.
Yeah. But we'll see. There's no way for me to know because I don't know the conversion rate of the stuff. And for me to tell you what to do without the knowledge of what's happening is very disingenuous of me to tell you the right move. Because the honest truth is it could be the absolute perfect move for you. And for the person sitting next to you, the dumbest thing they could possibly do. And I have no idea. And I'll tell you my experience, I've done this 100 different ways. There is no, like, without the data, you just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So like my homework for this week is to put the pixel on the Calendly.
Yes. And you want to have dashboards. Your dashboard here should be lead, calendar, book call. Right? So you have cost per lead, then they got shown the calendar, then they booked. I want to see those 3 touch points. I want to know what is the conversion rate from one to the next, and what is the cost from one to the next, and what is the value of each one of those touch points.
Okay.
Because then when you launch another ad, you're going to be able to know, is this more or less effective at getting somebody further down that funnel for a lower price? And then you can start making really smart decisions.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Best of luck
Perfect.
to you. You're
A lot
welcome.
of things, Charles.
Well, you got it sounds like a lot, but I promise you it's going to be easy. It's just some column work. You got a little bit of homework, but it's your due diligence, right? And just keep it up. All right, everybody. I think that's that. I'm going to let you go. I got a call in about 13 minutes, and I'm gonna go get myself a smoothie because it has been a day. But yeah, thank you all so much. I'll see you all hopefully tomorrow during the live video. That could be fun. On YouTube. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 p.m. Pacific. And then also, not that anybody really cares, but if you ever watch the YouTube lives that are Pacific at 12, starting next week, they're going to be 3 hours earlier. So that I can get some of the folks in Europe to watch it, because it's awfully late on Friday, and I think that's hurting some people from being able to watch the thing. So anyway, there we go. I'll see you all next time. Take care. And yeah, best of luck out there, everyone. See you later. Bye.